Hi everyone, this is Ray Moses for Swirly Doos Kit Club, and today I'm going to be sharing with you a video on how to make an altered bottle. In the August 2015 kit, we've got these cute little bottles, and in the Technique kit, we also received this paint and also some Crackle accents. We didn't get those, the design team didn't, so I'm going to substitute it with Crackle Paint, the Distress Clear Rock Candy, which will give you a similar effect. And I'm also going to be using from the kit, the mediums add-on had shimmers vibes. There's two different colors, so I'm going to be using these yellows. And I wanted to go with the colors of the kit, so I'm going to be adding an accent color, and I'm going to be using this Inka Gold color. I'm not sure which one it is. It says Inka Gold Seaside Travel Size Tower, and it's the one on the bottom. I believe it's turquoise. I'm going to start by taking some of this chalk paint and just painting the jar or bottle. And I'm not going to be overly careful. This chalk paint dries fairly quickly, so as it's starting to dry, I could leave it alone, but I actually want to take my brush and do this over again. It's going to remove a little bit of the paint, and I'll show you that in just a second, but I'll just show you my technique that I'm just going over the same area over and over, making it pretty thin, like this right here. And you can kind of see that some of it's getting removed, and I'm okay with that. I'm actually doing that on purpose because my goal for that, and I hope that it happens, it's hard to say, is that it will look like this, where you can see some of it off completely, but I want it to look like it's faded and distressed like that, so that's my reasoning for doing that. I'm just going to do that in a couple of other spots. Now this whitewash of the chalk paint is completely dry, and I'm ready for my next step. You can see the camera's picking that up a little better now that there are some little brush strokes that are showing the glass. Next I'm going to use my Distress Crackle Paint. This is Clear Rock Candy. I'm going to take another brush, or a brush that I've already cleaned, and I'm just going to start adding it. Now my rock candy is somewhat old, so it's pretty thick, which I think is nice because I think it will give you similar properties to the Crackle accents. So I don't want to press firm with this brush, because as soon as I start applying pressure, it's going to take the chalk paint off. It's not gesso, so it will actually come off. So I just want to be kind of careful, and I want to make this thicker in some areas than not. And pretty much the whole thing is covered in different layers, different thicknesses of the rock candy. So this actually needs to sit aside to dry. I cannot use the heat gun until it actually starts to crackle, otherwise the crackle effect won't work. Okay, now it's completely dry and it's hot. Some of the parts right here are kind of coming up, and I'm really excited about that because I'm just going to take my finger and firmly get rid of those little flakes. It's just going to add to the dimension of my next part. And for my next part, I'm going to use my mists. So in the mediums add-on, we've got these two, and this is more of a gold, this eggnoggin, and it's the lighter color, so I'm going to start out with that first. And I'm just going to douse the entire thing. It's going to be yellow. You can see I did the same thing on this one here. You can definitely see the parts of the yellow. I'm going to add my darker color, which is a more darker yellow. I'm just going to dry as I go. And you can see now that all of the mist is on there, hopefully the camera's picking that up, but it got into all of the little nooks and crannies of the crackle. And now I'm ready for my final thing to do with the paints, and I'm going to use my Inka Gold. Okay, and I'm going to use a firm brush for this. Sometimes your Inka Gold will dry out, but these ones are pretty wet still, so I don't need to do anything to those. I don't need to add any water. If it were dried out, what I would do is I would take the amount I thought I would need, and I would go ahead and put it on my craft plate, or I would put it inside of a little bowl and add water gradually until it became the consistency that I wanted it. So this is kind of where the magic happens, because this Inka Gold really gets into all of your cracks. And you just dry brush it on. And basically you're just going to go over it until you get the finish that you want. Okay, so for my next step, I have a little bit of excess of this Inka Gold on here, and I'm just going to take a sea sponge again and just blend that in. It doesn't need to be perfect, and it doesn't need to be even. But once I do that, I know I've got all of the excess Inka Gold off. So it's not going to come off on my hands. It will, you'll see that now because I was holding the bottle, but now it's not going to come off on my hands. It's just enough on there. And so just to seal that, I'm going to hit it with the heat gun very quickly, and none of it's coming off, so I'm good with that. The last thing I'm going to do, and you can kind of see that I did it on this bottle too, is that this one is lighter. This one has a dark tinge to it. Here's how I did it. I used some chalk ink, and I barely press it on. Press it on until I barely see some, and some random spots. And again, I take the sea sponge and I just blend it in. And then I'm going to use some Distress Photo, again just on the sea sponge. I'm just going to get on the edges of the ink pad here. And just go over that in some random spots. I'm mostly trying to touch on the gold and the yellow parts so that it's not as bright. And that's how I got the finish for this bottle. Now just to top it off, what I would do, which I'm going to do at a different point in time, is I'm going to add some of this wire thread from Prima. It just looks nice. It gives it a little thing at the top that looks kind of cool. And then I'll also add some of these things that we got from the kit. I had some of these gems that we got from the main kit, and this little middle piece right here came in the embellishment add-on. So I'll just add some of those things that if I have any more of these, I don't know if I do, and just add it to my little bottle collection. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and put them at the bottom of the video, or you can put it on the blog. and the blog address will be at the bottom. And I hope that you try to do something like this yourself. You can buy Inka Gold. I think there's some in the Swirly Do store, or you can pretty much buy it in a lot of different places. I think even Michael's has it or had it at one point. So thank you for watching. Make sure you go to swirlydoos.com and check out our forums. And if you're not already a subscriber, we have lots of kits in the store that are from past months and also current ones. And if you like this video, just mention my name if you want to try out the kits, and you can get 30% off in the store. Be sure to like us on Facebook too. Thanks for watching.